So, things that I picked up or that I wanted to talk about from the last few things we had to read in the book were I was really happy that like Ruth was able to find Zico on the internet, so she's not going crazy and she knows that like Now is a real person, and if she keeps looking she'll be able to find stuff and maybe find out more about her, or at least someone that she can return both the watch and the diary to, which seems to be one of her main goals. Towards the end of Now's section, where they pull up to go get seaweed, and just a bunch of people from the island are there scavenging for like bits or money, and as one of the ladies says, it's like scavengers rules, finders keepers. I thought that was an interesting concept because just earlier in the chapter, one of her work associates, I believe, was telling her it's not good that she has these things because there could be radiation on them and it's bad. But then like word got out that she found things and there could be things of value on the island, so a bunch of people are now out looking for things of value. I think that was an interesting switch there. Going into the book though, one of the things, so the book is called A Tale for the Time Being, and like at the beginning of the book, Now kind of talks about where is it? Now calls herself a time being, and she describes a time being as someone who lives in time, so like us, her, Ruth, everyone in the book. But I think also, if you think about it, like the time being could be like now, so like not only is the time being a person, but it could also be the period of time. So like right now, when Ruth has the diary, it's the time being. Like the diary is her tale for now, or until she can move on and pass the diary on to someone else. So that's what I originally thought about time being. I didn't think it was like specifically a person. I thought it was just like, for the time right now until we're able to like move on to another point in time. I think it's also one of the other things that she now talked about in her writings was how when she lived in Sunnyvale, she felt like she was an American girl adopted into a Japanese family, but like she had a bunch of friends. She had friends who were like Chinese adopted into an American family, and that was something that kind of resonated with me because it was like you have this place where you are and where you're like your family that you're with, but at the same time you don't feel that deep sense of connection. Like the expectations for you societally are different than the expectations or beliefs that you have in your head. And I thought that was interesting as well, because it's very clear that Now is like a non-traditional Japanese girl. Like she doesn't seem to be super interested in her studies. She seems her time living in America seemed to like have impacted her in some way. She seems relatively Americanized, and you can also tell that just from like how she greeted her great-grandmother when she came to visit and like yelled to her father and said, "Oh, there's some old bald men here in pajamas," or something like that. Like that seems very reverse of the little that I do know about like Japanese culture, where you tend to respect your elders and are respectful towards those that are around you. But I think that like, as Now has said herself, she's a living ghost. There are aspects of her life where she is now detached and is just going through the motions, which seems like a very relatable thing for a lot of people, I think, maybe right now too.